Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's stream, or video if you're watching this in the future, of us. We're going to be doing a tier list of all of the characters in the story. Like, what they have done in the story, have they actually added or made the story better, or have they just been useless or ruins the story? So, that's what today is going to be about.
Back off.
And I also have the game playing in the background, as you can probably hear the Chimera talking. That's fine. Chimera's great. So, alright. Let's begin this. So, first one is our main character. I don't have the male one, so we're not going to rank the male one. I use the female character. So that's the one we're going to go based off of. I don't got another one. But, come on. It's our main... I wish they put all the... Oh, they did put all the... Oh, we're going to do the elemental way. That sounds like a lot more fun. We'll do our character later. Because I want to do the whole, elements. Because each element had, like, a very different intro and a very different setup. So I'd like that to be, you know, different. Okay. So first character... I know a lot of people love her because she's really good. But where does she go for me? So wait, what did she do in the story? In the story, Veronica came up. We found her in the little flower field. We asked her about the black rose, or the black ley line, or whatever it was. The black flower from the black rose. It was the black ley line. We asked her about that. She says she's never seen it, doesn't know where it is, where it's from. But she makes us a replica, and that's how we end up meeting Alto. That's all she does. I have to preface this. I did not play the side stories, like the character stories. So this is all based on the main plot. The main plot of the stories. I also did like, I did do like 2 side stories, but they were both with like characters that didn't even matter on this list. But she kind of just existed in the story, right? Didn't do anything. I'm sorry, she just didn't do anything. It's weird to say, but she really didn't do anything in the story. She told us about a flower, and then she went with us to meet Alto, and then Alto really, like, and then she kind of dies. She just tells us she doesn't know what the flower is. That's all she ever did. She was a useless character. She wasn't useless. She didn't hurt the story. She didn't really add much to the story. She was kind of... She existed. Now, Encore. We first meet Alto, or no, I think we actually meet Encore before we meet Alto. Encore hurts Alto. Rats Alto out on everything. Like, we meet her and instantly she rats him out on his crimes, on his like illegal doings and all that he's not registered. So Encore adds a lot of comedy, and she is hilarious in the story. She also tells us a lot more than she should. And we do a whole quest with Encore. And then also, Encore does appear for a little bit in the finale of Renacida, version 2. So you know what? I'm gonna put Encore as she's added to the story. She adds to the story. She wasn't a inconvenience or anything. She physically added something to the story. She didn't hurt it. She added. She made me enjoy the story much more too. Just because her interactions with Alto are just so perfect. Our next character is I don't even know his name because he showed up once in the main story. Once. We saw him once in all of the main story. Now, he might appear in a side quest, in a side thing, but he appears once. We hear about his army, which I don't even know what his army is, and I'm gonna guess one of the side quests. It's just... Maybe if I did a side quest, he would be more important to the story. Or maybe in the future, he'll be more important. But as of right now, he has an army, and that's all we know. And he showed up to Renacida. And I literally only saw him in Renacida. He's a nothing character. To be honest, I think him showing up to Renacida and him not being in the main story, so if someone didn't do his side quest, it just hurts the story, because it's like, oh yeah, this guy, he owns an army. What? Who is he? That's it. He owns an army.
Back off.
And I was just like, I don't know. That was a bad call from the game. I think the game made a mistake with him not being anywhere in the story till Renacida. Oh god. Okay, I don't know all these characters' names. That's the problem. But I do have the game open. You guys can't see, but I do have the game open. I'm just gonna open the character list because it's gonna be much easier for me. Jinza. What did she do in the story? I'm trying to remember. She helped us get past the guards. She helped heal some people. And we learned about her homeland. That's it. She just existed. Like, she did stuff in the story, but it wasn't anything, like, memorable. She was just kind of there. So, she's one of those characters. It's just kind of... You know what? You know what we should do? Add a row below and make it black. Oh, wait, no, I didn't want to change the... Oh, I see what I did. I see. And then we grab this one and we change it to... yeah, that's a fine color. And new... hey. What? Stop it. Didn't... Oh, I have caps lock on. Didn't exist, right? Didn't exist is they literally never showed up once in the goddamn story. Main story. All right, the next one is our little wolf fox animal boy, Ling Yang. I don't know what he was. I remember him once, and that was at like the big fight scene where we were like starting the whole journey to fight. I forgot who it was. We're gonna go fight Big Bad in Jinzhou. The Thrnodian, like the big fight before we fight the... He was just a useless character. He didn't do anything. He showed up once, confused me why he was there, and they put him like in the center with all the main characters, but we didn't see him. And he hurt. He just became he's a pointless character. He was a character they added because they had him, because he was a free character. But other than that, he was irrelevant. Why have a character that you didn't even care about? All right, the next guy is the general. And the general, he does a lot in the story. Is it positive or negative? Yes to both. So I will say, the first time we meet him, we don't even meet him. We play as him in his own sides thing. Which, those types of things are okay if they're done well. This was done awfully. We just randomly become him. We don't even hear his name yet. We become him. And then they go like, oh, the general, he's so cool. And you should go meet him because he's such a badass. And then we play him like 2 more times. Still never meet our character meeting him. Just him having weird flashbacks and talks with like Ghost. Because the rain's going upwards and there's like memories and yada yada. And all of that was so bad. Then we meet him. And he's kind of nothing also. We don't really get much out of him. Then we do the whole scaling. He's... You know, the beginning, I would say he hurts the story. He actively hurts it. He brought me out of the fun. Because I think he hurt the story. He didn't. I wouldn't say he ruined the story, but he hurt the story a lot. Just because of how much they were out. Like, dude, they plastered the ad. Like, this guy is an ad on the goddamn main story. That's what he was. He was a fucking ad. He was probably the first character. I'm assuming he was the first character ever released. Fucking his name was plastered on the fucking ad screen. He ruined the story of Jinzhou. He ruins it. I would say he actively ruined. It's like, the beginning part is okay. Once you get to the lab, it falls off real fast. And then you start going and you go like, oh, this cool battle is going to be happening. Everyone's preparing for war. And then you get to the general and it's just downhill from there again. And then we finally get to the great battle. And he's just there. He kind of starts becoming a real character. But he's already ruined his reputation to you. And he's just not even worth being on the list. I still haven't met her in the story. She's not real. She doesn't exist. She just didn't exist in the main story. Not once. Which I believe these two came out in the same update. They advertised this fucking general with their heart and soul, but then they didn't advertise her at all in the main story. So I don't understand. It was really bad move there. That was one of the worst moves they could have done. I know the 4 stars are lower, and I hate that they're so much lower. Yeah, so why was the general so much more important to the goddamn story? And I get it. You want to advertise your new characters, you want to make sure everyone sees them. The general gets 99.99999% of the advertisement in game. It was a bad idea. And Yingling, she has a cool design. I like how she looks. I the problem is he got overused and used for any stupid plot development. Now, to be honest, 1.0, we could all agree that the 1.0 storyline was bad, and he was the main character of that storyline, of the main, like, big plot. So he got fucked. It's not fully, like, his fault, but he was just in the wrong place, wrong scenario. Yeah, it was just there, but I just remember playing it. I was already just so you know, I tried to play this game when it first released. I hated it. I never got to the general the first time because the lab killed all my fun. And when we get to the stupid fucking lab guy, I'm telling you, you know exactly where the fuck he's going. But then you also have then the story starts going up. Yeah, I haven't done any of the character stories, and I have seen that she has her own storyline. But this is mostly for the main plot, the main story plot. Because Renacita just finished. Like, Renacita's over. The new update has finished Renacita. I have fully finished that. So I want to go based on that. Renacita also has so many more characters. So there's a lot more to rate there. Yeah, she just didn't exist in the main story. It's really sad that they just killed her off. Next is our Lady of the Dragon. In the beginning, she was an okay character. Well, actually, we don't even meet her in the beginning. We get references to her in the beginning. And then we meet her. We talk to her during the whole war thing. And then her quest line was probably the best part of the whole area. Because she gets the whole, like, dragon quest. The dragon quest was a little boring. but it wasn't bad. It was also part of it wasn't part of 1.0, you know, it's an additional story they added and everything. I would say she existed. Her story wasn't amazing, and she didn't add too much. She added to the lore of the dragon and kind of like the end of the dragon, yada yada, but there wasn't much there. It was better than 1.0. Beginning, she doesn't do much. We get references that she does much, but her assistant is an actual character. I liked her assistant more than I liked her. Yeah, I I gotta give it to you. Yeah, I have to remember that she does. She fights the dragon. She fixes the mountain, and she also fixes. She fixes. Yeah, she's a weird one because she didn't do much in the beginning, but then she kind of. We'll give it to her. She added to the story only because she wasn't really in the 1.0 story. She was referenced there. She's very little in there. Yeah, she's in that weird spot. She's like the bottom of adds to the story. She didn't really do anything. She didn't do anything to the story. All right. Changlin, she is also in a similar spot. But the only difference that I will give her is she's referenced to, and then we immediately meet her. She gives us the whole exposition of the island and like the history of the dragon, right? She kind of gives us a whole history lesson, which feels a little yappy, but it's not bad yappy. She actually tries to condense it and make it small. She's there for the lore drop, and then she also like helps us sneak around. I feel like she adds enough that she can be an added. She added a lot to the story, and she's the only reason I got semi invested. I wouldn't put her in just there because while she only added the exposition, she also like helped us get through everything. She explained the whole dragon, like why the dragon's trapped in yada yada. But she was just an exposition slave. That's all she was, but the exposition she gave was at least nicely organized. It wasn't like, oh, well, because the thingy thing with the thingy thing with the thingy thing, just blabbing. She got to the point. Yeah, I feel she deserves something. The next guy didn't exist in the story. I haven't seen him once. Actually, no, she also. Those two don't appear. These two just don't exist in the game. Neither one of these guys exists in the main story. The difference is, you know, I'm even going to put her higher because I don't even see a side story for him. He doesn't even have a side story. Because these two, I actively can go into the game, press J, and they have like their names next to the side story. He does not have even a goddamn side story. What is he here for? People told me he was from an event. He's from the New Federation. Well, he doesn't exist. He's not real. He could be wherever the fuck he wants to be from. He ain't real. He just kind of not real. Now the next character's the Shorekeeper, but she has her own whole story in the game. Yeah, he does not exist. He's just I don't know why add a character that doesn't even have any plot. It's a weird choice. Apparently he's from an event, and that's the only time he has story. It's dumb. That's a dumb reason to have him. The other one apparently does have a side story, and I have to play these two so I can actually know who they are. But I think from here on out, every other character is actually in the game and has something to do in the plot. 3 5-star shrugs, yeah. The male characters have not had a good opportunity yet to shine. I'm going to be honest with you. But the Shorekeeper is next. And I'm going to be honest with you. the shorekeeper, she she is the Black Shore, right? She's like the perfect character. She has the perfect storyline. The Black Shore was the first good storyline. Like the first storyline I would say was good. Now, I didn't enjoy the whole going back in time and seeing the calamity that destroyed the Earth. That was a little lame, and we had to go do it a second time because she got trapped in it. That was a little lame. But overall, he was a great character. I would say because she was the first character to really make you go, this story is amazing. I think she's perfect. She was the perfect character to tell you, hey, the story's actually good from here on out, guys. The story is much better here. And we get introduced to the Black Shore. The first time, we meet her is where we actually, the first time we get on the Black Shore, she's there. She does. And we still get and keep in mind, the Black Shore, I think, will be relevant always. We didn't get to see her at the end of Renesita, but I feel like the next plot will have her in it. So she makes the story perfect. Her addition was great. Oh yeah, dude, the blue butterflies are so great. The end of Renesita, when everyone's gathered together having their big talk, there's just a blue butterfly sitting right behind you, right on a tree, right behind. I think it was right behind Phoebe. I don't remember who was behind, but it was just sitting there watching. So Shorekeeper is a perfect character. You get references to her all the time. She's a beautiful character. Now the next one is a weird character because Camilla hits a weird spot. You meet her, I think 3 times in the story you talk to her. And she is the first person to really get you reference the Black Shore and talk about you as a pre-existing character. Like you were born before. I think she goes into the highest just existed. Because she references a lot of key plot points to make you think you existed before, you're part of this group, but never explains anything, just kind of tells you. And she was supposed to build a mystery in the back of your head. But she doesn't really build a good mystery in the back of your head. Because you don't have any other pieces besides you existed before you were part of the group until Alto or until Shorekeeper comes and explains everything to you in detail. She just kind of is the first. Scar is the first person who gives you the hint, but she's the first one to kind of go out of her way to go, no, you existed before. Once we finish all these characters, I am going to add Scar. Oh my god. Frenrico. And oh god, I can't remember. We're going to be adding a couple characters that were part of the story. Like they were more than one act characters that appeared and actually did shit. We're also going to be adding the storyteller, the evil bard. Cristoforo? I think he's called Cristoforo. I think that's his name. I believe his name is Cristoforo. I called him Evil Bard the entire time I played the game. The entire game. I called him Evil Bard. But next is... So our next one is Carlet. I loved Carlet. Dude, I hate Evil Bard. But you know what? Because I hate him so much, I think he's a great character. They went with they made him perfect by making you hate him so much. I think they did him well. I hate him with all my heart. But next is Carlot. And oh my god. Carlot is a beautiful character. She adds I'm torn between putting her, she adds to the story because she's the one who invites you to Renesita. She's the one who explains to you the whole scenario. She helps you with literally everything. She's part of the carnival with you. That's why I'm torn. I don't think she makes it perfect, but I think she does so much that she kind of is the only reason Renacita is a good story, because she's there for you. Unlike in, like, you know, the past, she was there the entire time helping you every foot of the way. Ah. Did she add enough to be perfect? That's my question. She also appears in the final battle, but I guess she doesn't do much there. Oh, I think I'm going to put her in perfect just because she adds such a ludicrous amount to the story. Like, she's in everything besides um you know, you going to the big upside down she's everything to the carnival. Past the carnival she disappears, but then she reappears for the main arc. And before the carnival, there's so much story that you go through. And she's funding our beautiful pirates, our beautiful group of misfits. So, like, she's involved with every character in Renacita. She was just such a joyous character. The next one is our little lass, our little first mate, Roach. Where does Roach belong in the story? How much did she add? I feel like Roach, while I love her and she's a great character, I feel like she didn't add that much to the story. Now I get it, she's a first mate, but I feel like she didn't add much. She kind of just existed. I'm gonna put her. Hey. Let me. There we go. I'm gonna say she did more than her, but she just existed. She was there enough to give you that nice intro and vibe. But the captain does everything. Brant does more than she will. I feel the same way about Phoebe. Like, Phoebe is a beautiful character. And she helps you investigate the order slightly. But besides helping you slightly investigate the order, which Carletta does more. She just existed. Phoebe just existed. She was there. She gave you a little bit of, like, additional to the plot. Even at the end battle, she wasn't even there at the big meetings. But she was doing medical work, so I'll give her that. But, like, she just existed. But she didn't hurt the story in any way. She added a positive spin to the story. Next, you would put her above her? I guess, yeah, because Phoebe does add some more stuff. Phoebe definitely adds more than her. I wouldn't say she adds more than the first mate, because the first mate gives us, like, a little bit of story about the misfits. I would still put Roach above Phoebe, but yeah, Phoebe I think belongs above. 1.0 characters are losing. They are just having the worst time. Brant doesn't just add to the story. He explains about the I'm not going to put him in I don't think he made the story perfect, but he adds so much to the story. Teaching us about the carnival, telling us about the like the people, like, pilgrimage. I think when they went on the pilgrimage, helped us fight the giant dragon. He did everything he could in that main story and helped us set up the big extravagant event to fight provolone cheese. It was Brant was beautiful. Cantarella is our next target. Cantarella definitely added to the story. Did she make the story way better for her existence? Because remember, she kind of did the whole plot of what's it called? The whole upside down tower thing. That was her whole plot. And that was, first of all, that was really great story. Did she only do that? No, but then in the ending, she also does a lot. We get a lot of references to her family. Now, I know that's not her, but we get a lot of references to her family and that she's like this evil like leader who poisoned her own dad. Oh my god. Yeah, I would say she goes a little bit above under her. I would say she goes a little bit of under Carlotta because Carlotta kind of she does a lot more overall, but the two of them are I think the two of them, even though I know they're rival families, they make the story so good. All right. This one I might feel a little bad about. Zanya? She didn't do much. She didn't do much. She did the same amount as Roach. She was there. She gave exposition. She slightly helped you on small things. But god damn it, she just like Roach playing as a secondary character to Carlotta, right? But she just plays the secondary character. She also runs the bank and does work, but like at the end of the day, she's just a secondary character to your main leader. And that's what kind of sucks. I love her. I wish she was more in the story. I wish she got more involved and did more. But god damn it. Only gripe was not, to be honest. Phoebe is her best support. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna guess you don't really like Phoebe. But Zenyatta existed. She was a great character. She added the same amount as Roach. I think her and Roach are identical. I could switch them back and forth. So the two of them are interchangeable in my mind. I don't mind it. I get it. I only got two limited characters. So goddamn 50-50s kicking my ass. All right, this. All right, our next character. I wouldn't even say she existed. Now this comes down to how much she's in the story for me. So keep in mind, this is only main story, not doing the whatever side stuff. She doesn't hurt the story, but she appears for one scene to explain one thing and disappears. And then she appears at the final battle and does almost nothing. She's there again just because they introduced her. She was a character that was added to be added for nothing. I To be honest, she did the same amount as all these other characters in the just exist category at the bottom. She's definitely part of the bottom half. No, she was better written, and that's why we'll put her above, but like she didn't do anything. She just I she I think we talked to her for maybe 10 minutes in total of the gameplay. She tells us, "Oh, I'll write a song about you." Gone. Don't see her again till the final battle. And for the final battle, she does more than Phoebe in the final. Well, no, she doesn't, because Phoebe heals and she kind of like fights, but we useless character. Don't understand. She could have been in the don't exist almost with how much she appeared, but she did do stuff technically. Very technically, she just existed. I don't. Does she? Wait, trying to remember. The first time we meet her is under the tree, and that's her whole story. She doesn't. She doesn't even follow us. Okay, so she okay. I guess she does a little, but like it's still not much. I know she helps us beat every character in Renacita helps us beat Leviathan. Oh, does she? The illusion? When we get stuck in the illusion, it's Gabriella who comes in and saves us. I know technically all the characters came and helped us, but like that whole thing is weird. I count every character as part of it because it was that weird. Oh, really? Oh. Well, that's good to know. But still, I feel like that's still not enough to put her above just exist. She did nothing in the story. She really did nothing. I could replace her with any character. I literally could have put fucking where she was and nothing would change in the story. That's how little she did. It's just she just didn't do anything. Um All right, well our next character is a character who she is the main plot point of most of Renacida. She is literally Renacida. Cardathea is most of the plot in Renacida. Purely because of her connection to I don't know what we want to call it, the combined version of Leviathan and Imperador, but it's literally she's the person. She's the resonator. We literally fight her twice as a boss. Her like model is fought twice as a boss, which was crazy. One evil and one the same looking as or the adult version of her. She also helps Lupa in the next storyline. She's a very big part with helping Lupa. And then at the end battle, she loses her body and then comes. Yeah. Eh. The problem is she's the main plot point. Yeah, no, she's. I don't know where to put her. She definitely makes the story perfect because she is the story. I I don't. I'll agree with you. I have I Carlotta. I feel like they both did the same amount in the story. The problem is, yeah, she's the main plot point of most of Renacida. But no matter what, she belongs in perfect. She is the perfect character. She makes the story perfect. She was there. She also is the reason we go to Septimon. She's the reason we go to the floating castle. We talked to her also after the carnival. She's just too much in the story. The moment she is shown, she is in the story the rest of the time. Lupa. I don't know where Lupa goes. Cause so Lupa adds to the story a lot. She adds a lot to the story, but the issue is she also just kind of poofs from the story right after. Like, so she does her whole story quest. You do her whole story quest of like this hero reliving the failures and dying over and over again and failing time and time again, which really good Greek tragedy, really good. But then the winners of the competition are supposed to go do the whole raid, the whole like battle. And Lupa doesn't go, even though she won. That made no sense. Story-wise, that made no sense. So Lupa added to the story, but she wasn't perfect. If she went with us to like the whole fighting, even if we only saw her in some scenes and she was like leading her own squad or whatever, I think she would have been better for it. Because the only thing she does is we win the we help her through her tragedy, win the competition, and poof. She dies. Yeah. She was a character that should have been added to the rest of Septimon story because she was the same as us. She was the winner. The reason they took us is because we were also a winner. So a little upset. They missed so many good opportunities with Lupa. Next is Provolone Cheese. I give all the villains a nickname. She got Provolone Cheese because of her name. She is Provolone Cheese. She adds so much to the story. I know she was in 1.0. She was there with the whole Threnodian and Scar. She was there. And then she was the whole fight in the Carnival. We didn't even meet this. Well, we met the storyteller, the evil bard. We met him. But she was still the main villain there. And she would also be the main villain for a while, and then we go to the whole underwater and learn about her past. And her past is interesting. Is her past is really interesting. It really adds to the order because the order is a plot point that felt kind of like it was a big deal and it was kind of dropped. So, oh yeah, she adds to the main character's lore. She adds, dude, she is all we know about the Fraxidus right now. She is the only character we know because of her. We know more about the Fraxidus and all this crap. She adds so much to the story. Her lore to our character's lore to the Order's lore, which was one of the main evil factions. And the final fight, she doesn't do that much. I will say that Scar kind of does everything there, but she is a main character. She adds way too much for me to not be perfect, and she's still going to be part of the story. I think it feels like she has to be part of the story still. Next to Shorekeeper, I would say. Uh, I still feel like Cardathea did more than Provolone. I think she did more than the house families. I think Cardathea still did more because Cardathea, just had more importance plot wise, right as of right now. Keep in mind, she can always. I think Cardathea will disappear from the story now because we're going to be leaving Renacida within like an update, maybe 2 updates, 3 updates. We're going to be leaving Renacida, but the Fraxidus will follow us, so she still has opportunities to improve. But right now, she is perfect though. She's the perfect character. For her storytelling, she's perfect. I'm just putting her under Carthea and above Carlot. She's between the two cars. Right there. Next is Augusta. Now, this is where we have to start judging characters because they've only been in the game for so long. Kind of have to judge them on every little thing they did because we have a limited amount of resources here. So Augusta, we see her. When's the first time we see her? Augusta, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm pretty sure the next 3 characters all are definitely add to the story. I think Augusta. Oh man, she definitely adds to the story. But do we think she breaks? Yeah, the first time we see her was when we win, and then she does the whole raid thing with yeah, no. She goes to add it to the story. She's not perfect. She's not perfect. She needed a little more to be perfect. She needed a little more. We do get her whole backstory. I will say, if they added a if there was a little bit of more of an exposition in Septimon, and we got to see her like being a leader in Septimon with Yuno and talking, to her childhood friend, I think that would have made her a better character. But she just didn't reach that perfect status. She's right under perfect. Now, we meet at the same. Keep in mind, Augusta and you can't separate the two. You really can't separate the two. Their stories are so intertwined. Like, and Augusta, their stories cannot be disconnected. But has the whole underground chaos. Like, she wasn't real anymore, and that we got so much more plot for that she's perfect. I'm gonna even put her above Cantarella. I think she did better with connecting to people and just being part of the story and fighting fate and all that. I think did much better here. And in the final story, she's also a very big part. Purely because Augusta's also all the Septimon people, because the final fight's in Septimon, they have a much bigger role for a lot longer. But she was so good. You would put her above Carlot? That's the thing that gets me. I still think Carlot's above is because Carlot's character is great. She's also our invite, and she introduces us to everything. I think I think is just under her. I love that Shorekeeper is still just our top. Nothing beats Shorekeeper. Shorekeeper was perfect in every way. But I think she goes a little bit, just slightly under Carlot. Just slightly under Carlot. And to be honest, Carlot has had more time to be in the story, which is unfair to because is our go Shorekeeper. You can't take her down. All right, our next character just came out this update. But the next two characters actually both came out this update. So in all fairness, we kind of have to judge them very similar. But I also have to say this. Galbrenna is my first 5-star pull. Shorekeeper's getting pretty heavy. She is also like one of the best supports in the game, which is funny. I don't own her. I want to get Shorekeeper. When I get the chance, I'm getting Shorekeeper. All right. Gabrielle. Now, I will say, she added to the story. She was literally the whole ending. She was the whole ending of Renacida. She was in every part of the ending, including the setup and the reason we win. She's also Augusta's childhood friend, which we met earlier, and we learned that she has like a crazy resonance ability and so much other stuff about her. I feel like we learn more about Gabriella than we do about someone like Phoebe before Gabriella was even a character, which is a problem. We learned more about Gabriella before she became a character. We didn't even know if she would become a character. But Gabriella was more involved, I would argue. Also, I love the dynamic between her and Chimera. Chimera is a little bit of a yapper. I will say that Chimera is a yapper. But I feel, my God, I don't know if she adds to the story, if she adds like an extreme amount, and she's like the top of adds to the story, or she's perfect, like the bottom of perfect. Because she gives us so much more world building than any other character has before. Because not only do we get introduced to her, we get the introduction to like these other tacit discords. We get this like you know the weird animation style they have for like showing the backstory. We get the reference to like this weird sand area. She adds so much because of all the backstory she gets. She also has the most backstory I feel like of any character. Two whole acts are dedicated to her almost. No, there's more characters in those acts, but she's like the main plot point of those acts. No, I think she's the bottom of perfect. I think Galbrenna is the bottom of perfect. She is the bottom of perfect. And she becomes a Black Shore member. She joins us, which is just it's the first character we recruit to an organization we made so goddamn long ago. Like before this story, thousands of years ago. And we recruit her to there's just she adds so much intricacies and so many cool points that I think she's perfect. She just adds way too much. And even though she's just been there for such a short time, she was way too good for the time she existed in. I can't even like falter. The little time she's had on screen, perfect character. Perfect character for the little time she existed. Now our next character isn't technically in the game yet. Technically, we like we even play him already. Already play him in the story against Scar again. He does fight Scar again. And then he tells us about like some stuff and gives us the lantern. Does he add to the story? I gotta wonder. Do we think he adds to the story or he was just there? Because the fighting the Scar thing, all the characters were there. I could have thrown, and all of them did eventually join fighting Scar. All of them did eventually join to fight Scar. So he didn't. I'm gonna put him in adds to the story because he brings the lantern, and because he does. I feel like he'll add more later, but right now he just barely adds to the story. He barely adds enough to the story to be here, to be adds to the story, but just barely. Now I know there's another quest coming out for the main plot point for the main story, and he's probably going to be part of it because it comes out when his banner releases. And he's also we're on the reference. I think we'll be seeing him in the new Federation. Maybe. I don't know. I know he's the next part, and I know the story ended on the Black Shore. So whatever happens on the Black Shore, he's there. He's going to be on the Black Shore. I don't know what he's doing on the Black Shore. I don't know what the plot is going to be of that, but he's there on the Black Shore for whatever the next plot is. And he has to be the person who helps us get to the next area. He just has to be. Because he's chasing. I forgot who I think he's chasing Scar, right? Oh, the next. So he's chasing. I couldn't remember if it was the evil bard or Scar. I think he's the one. Yeah. So he's hunting Scar. That's his whole role. I didn't remember if it was which one. I knew it was one of the Fraxidus males. That's all I remembered. His whole job is chasing Scar. Alto. Our next well, now we're on the 4 stars. And our first character is Alto. Do we even have to question Alto? Do we even have to question where he goes? I'm sorry. I that's where Alto belongs. Think about everything he's done and everything he's added to the story. That is where Alto belongs. I know he's a 4-star and no one really plays him, but he is the first person to tell us about the Black Shore. He helps us in the fight in he doesn't help, but he's there and somewhat participates in 1.0's story. Then he brings us to the Black Shore. I know we get lost, but he's the one who brings us to the Black Shore originally. He guides us through all the Black Shore. He helps us in the beginning of the whole Black Shore story and the end. He's there during most of the Black Shore, besides like the weird dimensional time travel stuff and memories and computers. He's there for everything before that and everything after that. And then on top of that, he takes us to Renacida. He also takes us to Renacida. I know he drowns for all of Renacida until this recent update. Because literally we see his boat capsize, the pirate takes us, and then Alto just disappears for so long. And then on top of that, Alto just took us back to the Black Shore. He just took us back. And I bet you money, he is going to bring us to the next area. He's bringing us to our next... I am putting money he's bringing us to our next area. Because he's the one who owns the boat. And he helps... he gives Gabrina, whatever the messaging thing is, and tells us to invite her to the Black Shore. He is our driver. But that means he's driving the story. He's our driver, but he's also the person bringing us, like, telling us where we should go and bringing us to the next plot points. He is so essential to the story. And he's a 4-star on top of that, and he's so essential to this goddamn story. And all his interactions with Encore is adorable. He's also the guy who brings everyone from Renacida to Septimon, and everyone from the Black Shore to Renacida. That's him. That's also all him. It's so crazy how involved Alto is. I agree with you. Maybe I'm putting him a little high, but I feel like he just drives the story. He just drives too much of the story and helps us way too much. And I think he's the only character that appears in every story right now, too. Because when you really think about it, he was part of, 1.0, all of that bad story. He was probably the best character in 1.0. All of 1.0, I would argue he was the best character. And then Black Shore, he's a big part. He's the one who starts taking us to Renacida before he drowns for... Oh, he has, his drowning episodes. And then he reappears saving Renacida. That's pretty... He's the reason we get, like, the fighting force. He saves Renacida for all intents and purposes, with him showing up to save the people and protect the vault so everyone else can come to Septimon to do the final battle. He's just too involved for me to not be a main driving point. And I know he's the information gatherer, so he knows everything. That's kind of his whole job, is just knowing everything and acting on the knowledge he knows. I just think he's too involved in the story to not be at the top. He's the top of his game. Now, the rest of the 4-stars have the other issue. The rest of the 4-stars might be happy if they get to add to the story. The rest of these 4-stars. I don't even remember what she did in the story. She existed. I don't even know what she did. I, I don't know what any of these 4-stars do. Well, some of them I remember what they did, but like Dungeon, I think she appeared for like a little bit and did nothing. She didn't hurt the story. She didn't add to the story. She was just there. Most of these characters are kind of a waste of space. It's a really sad thing to say about, you know, these types of characters. Like all the 4-star characters, but they either just exist or didn't do anything. Like our next character, Chiza, Chiza, Chichi, she just existed. She did better. Better than her. Say better than her, but not okay, I would put her there. She existed. She didn't do anything. She didn't do anything to the story. Just did, we're at the point where none of these characters existed. That's where we are. Where all these characters were kind of eh. Like our next character, Ta Tauku? Tauku? I don't even remember her in the story. I don't remember what she did in the story. I, I really don't. I don't even remember her being in the story. I feel like there was a plot point with her, but she just existed. She didn't make it worse. I don't even remember what she did. The next. I don't remember his name. I don't give a shit what his name is. This character. This character made me quit the first time I played this game. This stupid lab guy. I think he had more dialogue in 1.0 than every other character. And it was just jargon. Like the game developers went like, we're smart and we know all this sciencey thing, so we're gonna make him talk about all of, like the logical and why all this technology works and exactly how it works. If I remember correctly, I didn't press the skip button, just so you know. I pressed the space bar. I think we spent an hour listening to this guy yap about nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then he fixes a puzzle for us, which anyone could have done in any amount of time, but this guy needed to yap about it and just didn't shut up. They are. They still didn't do much. And I'll give Yang Yang some power because Yang Yang does a lot and she stays with us a lot more because the other one has to work at the restaurant. Baizu does a lot, but I'll have my complaints with her next. Don't worry. I have complaints about her. Yang Yang, I liked Yang Yang. Yang Yang definitely did stuff. But this professor, he made me quit the game when I first played. This is where he goddamn belongs. This is where he belongs. He ruined the story. He made me quit once. Straight up just made me quit the game the first time I tried to play it. That's how bad he was in the story. He made me leave the game for almost 2 years. And when I came back, I still had to listen to him again, and I kind of wanted to quit again because of him. He doesn't belong. Guy with the blue glasses, he didn't exist in the story. You don't see him at all. You see him for like, so I did the thing to unlock whatever the trial thing is, but he doesn't exist in the main story. We don't see him ever in the main story. He's part of a whole different side plot. He doesn't exist. He wasn't there. Now, I get why he's there. He's supposed to be like your introduction to the other, like a whole another gameplay mechanic, but like he didn't exist. This guy just didn't exist. Now, this is where everything gets interesting. Baizu was in the story. She was a good and bad part of the story. And I don't, she's because she's part of the scientist group. You know, she's part of like the scientists who do all this weird stuff. The problem is she has the same issue as the character I hate the most in the game, and I think the character who literally made me quit the game and just too much. He spent too much time on screen just yapping. Baizu falls in a very similar category as him. The difference is she actually has positive plot at points. But I still can't get she has the same problem as the scientist and all the really, really early game characters. I think she's the one who hurts the story the least out of all these characters. But I think overall she hurt the story just because of her yapping and just her overcomplication of things that didn't need to be overcomplicated. And this is the fault of being part of the 1.0 update. I wish they would go back and slightly rewrite points of the story, but awful. We'll do Yang Yang real quick. Yang Yang adds to the story. She added more than the samurai, not more than our dragon person, but she adds to the story. She's the first. She's part of the group that the first characters you meet, but she also like guides you. She teaches you all this stuff. She's like the reasonable one too. While we're doing all the crazy stuff, and the other character is, and our other like side characters also trying to push us to do crazy stuff. She's the voice of reason and trying to like calm us down and help us out. She is a great character. She adds quite a bit. And, you know, she writes us the letters. She has a fun gameplay mechanic too. That doesn't help in the story thing, but yeah, she writes us letters. She probably has a lot of side stories that you could do with her. But for main story, she's a big part. She, she suffers from the 1.0 plague that this game has. But overall, I would say she's part of the 1.0 characters that weren't bad. All right. This is a character that's she has the same problem as a lot of other characters. Because this is just a thing with how they made Withering Waves. You know how Brant has Roach, Carletta has Xenia. She is a secondary character to the main. She's the assistant. She's directly the assistant of the main leader of the region. The difference is, I feel like she's more involved because she she's kind of the one who tells us everything, but it's because her boss told she's. I'm gonna put her adds to the story under Yang Yang because she does add. She adds quite a bit. She kind of is like the thinker. She also introduces us to the idea of how resonance abilities works and that every resonance ability is different because like she can only see in frequencies, which was such a cool concept at the time, and it was probably one of the coolest concepts in the game for a while. So she added a lot, not because she did a lot, but because of the introductions she gives us. She introduces so much cool ideas behind her that I think she deserves to be an added to story. And above our samurai, because our samurai still hasn't done too much. He's there. He did a couple things. He doesn't enough. And we're down to the last two 4 stars. And I'm gonna be honest. Yuho hurt the story. She hurt the story. She's barely in it. And the time she's in it, feel like she was there just for exposition that the character we already saw could do. There was no reason for her to be in this. There's no reason for that she should have been in the story. Because any other character, it was. I'm gonna say she did more than him at least, but like she actively hurt the story. There was no purpose of her being there. She added exposition where exposition wasn't needed, and that's all she existed for. Her existence was just actively to upset people. Now, Luma, I think that was her name. She add she didn't add to the story, but her delivery service was a fun thing and taught us that there are people who like will travel across like islands and countries to deliver mail and all that, and I feel like we'll see her again. But she's just great even though or she was like transport she's FedEx, she's Amazon, UPS, whatever you want to call it. That's what she is. And she adds enough to the story that she adds a good amount, but she doesn't add enough to be like she didn't add enough to the story to be part of adds to the story. She was there, she introduced cool concepts, and she added to world building, but not enough. She did not add enough to me. To me personally, she did not add enough to the story. And now this is where we rank our character. What did our character do with each version of our character? I'm gonna be honest with you. The first version of our character, I used the female one, so I'm gonna put the female one. But you can interchange it. Our first character fights the big boss. I didn't add much to the story. The first version of us, I think it added more than Phoebe though. I remember the first version of our character is from the start of the game to the Threnodian fight. Which, to be honest, there wasn't much in the story at that point. And we didn't do anything epic with those abilities either. There wasn't much. It was a good intro, but that version of us just existed when we had just that ability. The shadow one now added to the story. When we got our shadow ability, yeah, so when we fight the Threnodian and unlock the darkness or whatever that one is with the giant scythe and the wings, added so much to the story. It added to first of all, it was the first one that introduced us to the idea that we can get multiple abilities. It was kind of already known that we would, because that's how most gacha games do. The main character can just get everything, but oh god, that was a big yawn. She was the first one to really introduce us to all that idea, and the fight was epic, and we do so much with this power for the rest of the time. We also use this power in the Black Shore and everywhere else. This is just our main ability for so long. And then the wind one, I'm calling it the wind one. I don't remember the proper name, but it's wind. Um, it also added to the story. Especially it's when goddamn, I want to put it above Brant. Cuz when Cardathea, falls over and like Technic kind of dies and she gives us the sword and we gain that new power because she gives us this arrow. So, our arrow version has so much emotional turmoil and so much like feeling to it that us when we gain that ability, it means so much. It means so much when we gain that ability, and then we're still technically this one will still keep going. But this one is from the point of Cardathea being defeated to now. And future onwards until we get a new one. But from there to there, that ability adds so much to the story, and our character does so much. Not perfect though. Not perfect. It's close though. It's really close to being perfect. The emotional turn that it gave us, but the emotional turn wasn't really us gaining the power, but it was really Cardathea that gave us that emotional turn because she fell over. All right, and now we got to go grab the rest of the characters. So I'm gonna go find some quick pictures because we need to add Scar to this list. There's no way we can do a list without having Scar in it. I'm gonna try to find a picture, but the issue is all those pictures are like, characters' pictures. So now to find this is a good picture. How do I make a new one? Save or download? Oh, no. Do I just paste? No. What? Oh! We just choose a file? Oh, that means I gotta save it. Damn it. So we gotta do Scar. Scar has to be in it, right? I'm just gonna get them all right now. I'm just gonna download all of them at once. Because, goddamn, I don't remember how to... Cristoforo. God damn it. I put Evil Bard and it didn't show anything. I was a little upset. But it's Cristoforo. That's what I should have typed. And then, what was... Oh. Our boy Avidius, he needs to be in this. And then, are there any other characters? Are there any other NPCs that we need to add to this? I don't think there was any other NPCs that were like a big part of the story besides those guys, right? Or at least none that I can remember. I know there were other characters like semi-involved, but I can't think of any of them. Booling. Oh my god, you're right! I completely forgot about her! In my mind, I always think that she's gonna become a character. She's going to become a character. Who else? Anyone else that was in the story? Booling. 1.0. I don't think there was anyone else from 1.0 besides the Threnodian, but I'm not going to add the Threnodians or the the Echoes. Like I'm not going to add the dragon or any of that stuff. I really want just humanoid characters. Main NPCs. Let's Google who are main NPCs. Well, there's Avidius again. But I knew about you. Yeah, I'm looking. There's not much. To be honest, they don't have many. There's not many good. Like, there's a couple NPCs that it's showing, but like all those NPCs kind of were like like one hit plot points and just disappeared from the story. Yeah, that's... All right, I think I got everyone that will add. There's probably more characters, but let me just add everyone real quick. All right, there we go. Their pictures look off, I know. So we'll start with Scar, because Scar was introduced so much earlier on. So, Scar was the best part of the beginning game. I'm just saying it right now. Scar was the best part of the beginning game, right? He's like the first good part of the game. Like the intro is okay because it's learning and you're supposed to not know anything. But Scar's the first character to really like get you like, ooh, you know what? This game might be really cool. I feel like Scar did that. Also, he hits so many plot points. He is the first. He introduces you to the Fraxidus. He brings you. What is? He does the Thronodian, but he's kind of just there yapping. But he is part of the Thronodian in 1.0. Nothing in the Black Shore about Scar. And then Scar only shows up. Oh yeah, Scar gets also arrested. I forgot that whole thing. We know he escapes jail. We don't know how he escapes jail. Oh yeah, we also fight him in that jail or in the thing where he gets beaten up. And Scar reappears at the end of Renacida. See, Scar disappears for too long, but I still feel like because of when he was added and how much he did, he was so perfect. He is the perfect villain. Him getting arrested was kind of lame, but like, I'm happy that the game just didn't go, oh, and then he escaped 3 minutes later, or you failed to capture him. We actually got to catch him. And there had to have been a whole prison break. All of this is referenced in the main story. None of it is shown. So, Scar, I think, is perfect for being one of the main villains. Especially that he was the first villain. He was such a good first villain. And he was still a good villain during the end of Renacida. Less so, he was kind of just like the tanky guy who's like yelling and laughing. And like, playing around. But he is just such a good... Scar's just so good. We'll do Avidius last because he's technically the last character you ever meet. Technically, the next one is the storyteller. I hate him. I hate the storyteller. I hate everything about him. But god damn it. Is he great for being an awful character? You're supposed to hate this little evil fucking bard. And in the beginning, he seems like such a cool guy that he's going to tell our tale. No, I don't think he's perfect. I think he's missing a lot, and like he just kind of comes in and says he's controlling fate somehow. But I'm gonna say he adds. Let's say he adds less than Brant, but he still adds so much to the story. Especially he's the main villain of most of Renacida. For the most part, he is. Like Provolone is there. She's there for Renacida, and she does a lot, and she is a perfect character for what she does. But goddamn, Storyteller's the main villain. He's not perfect, and I would argue he's the only Fraxidus member. Well, no, they added whatever his name is, the main villain guy. But he's not perfect. He's perfect for being hated. You know what? I'll put him even above our person. I won't put him above Lupa. Lupa was just such a good story. His story is just kind of just being there and telling us a story. He adds a lot. He doesn't really have like a story to himself. While Scar does, he tells you about the whole wolf and sheep and lambs and the shepherd. And then fights you and you have this whole battle. And you do the whole he's that chaos energy that you needed for a good introduction to a villain faction. The storyteller is very good, but he just doesn't everything he does is like the background, which kind of is not a big part for me. It adds, but doesn't he's not perfect. Next is bowling. Um bowling. She adds so much to the part she's in. Her intro, kind of okay. Her intro's not the best in the world. I'll be the first to say that. Her intro is not 5 stars, but she adds a lot. She is our communicator. She helps us a lot through Septimon. She's only introduced in Septimon, and she expands on a faction we knew already existed. And we learned that this faction works. She added more world building than she did real assistance. So she definitely adds just because she adds a lot to the story. But she definitely I kind of want to put her under Yang Yang because I think Yang Yang adds more to me overall. I think Yang Yang adds more. I think overall Yang Yang adds more. But still, I'm pretty sure all of these characters add something to the story. Like all of these guys are really good. Cristoforo. Cristoforo, before his story, I would have said he hurt the story because he's just kind of a villain that gets no plot. He was a villain who got no plot in the beginning. He was like, oh, he's part of the Order. And the Order is shady and kind of evil and kind of works with the Fraxidus. And then that's kind of dropped. Because then we do the whole upside down tower thing. And then we finally turn back around, learn about the ocean and like this gem. And we help Provolone Cheese. And then we meet Cristoforo. And then Cristoforo tells us, wait, I didn't mean to be evil. I wanted to help everyone. Having his like weird redemption. Both these guys are related to the lantern. One brings us the lantern, one originally used the lantern. But both of these characters they added enough to be like, I could say they were part of the story and they actually added something. But he wasn't written well. The Order wasn't written well. Man, like his story was good, but he was the leader of the Order, and the Order was written so badly in this game. Like when you really look at the Order's whole thing, right? And I get it. It's a religious group that believes in the Imperator. But Imperator was corrupted by Leviathan, so their religion was kind of being corrupted slowly, yada yada. And they lost their Blessed Maiden. He took the position after the Blessed Maiden disappeared, which makes sense. Because he wanted to seize the power and tried to make justice that he believed was right. He sent people on the pilgrimage. And he did a bunch of bad stuff. But all of this adds to his story. But when you look at the Order as a story, they do evil thing, right? Then we do the Carnival. The Order goes, oopsies, we didn't do anything. We promise. And then we go to the next plot point where the Order's part of it again, which is the whole underwater thing where they're like crazy religious, like, no, you can't destroy our beliefs. And then it's just that whole idea is just dropped afterwards. The Order does nothing. The Order serves to be a minor plot point occasionally. The Order was bad. The Order was just bad. the group, the order, made no sense story-wise. And they shouldn't have been in the story. You can agree or disagree with that opinion. Now our last character. My final character in this tier list. Avidius. Now, this is where people might have a questionable thought, questionable where I'm going to put him. But let's really think about Avidius. Let's think about his whole story together. Avidius, first time we meet him, he is a rival to Augusta. That's what he's shown as. He's supposed to be the hero of heroes, and he's supposed to the Senate, this like Senate council thing, all wants to get rid of Augusta and put Avidius as the puppet. That's what we learned of him first. That is our first introduction of Avidius. Poor Avidius, he gets put in a bad spot. I'm sorry, Avidius. It hurts me that you got put into this predicament. But then we get to meet Avidius, right? We get to see more of Avidius. And then we get to see him with the Senate going, hey, go do your thing. Go be the hero of heroes. Fuck over Augusta and do something better. Set her up to fail, and then you come out and succeed. He refuses that because he is a hero. Truly, he was a hero. And instead of like, going with the Senate's plan and going like, no. He says no to the Senate and he goes and helps Augusta, even though he barely gets any recognition for what he did, but he goes and helps Augusta. He turns around and shows, no. He may be trying to seize power from Augusta, but he still cares about the people. He cares about his fellow gladiators. He cares about saving his city. He truly cares, showing us that he was a fucking amazing person. And we really get to see this change, like our perception of him change so dramatically, so quickly throughout the whole thing. So he turns around, he helps Augusta and us and everyone else. The next time we meet him is Yuno is gone. We're trying to figure out why no one remembers Yuno. Where's Yuno? And we find Avidius stuck in an underground dungeon. It sounds so weird, but he was in a dungeon. For all intents and purposes, he was trapped in an underground dungeon. So we meet Avidius, who was trapped in an underground dungeon. We go with him. We help him do a couple things here and there. Or, no, we kind of just leave him in the dungeon. And then the religious people, and he's kind of ignored for the rest of that plot point. But he does go like, I'm not real. I'm fake. I'm not a real person. I'm a fake hero of heroes. And everyone believes I'm the hero of heroes, even though I'm not a hero of heroes. So he realizes he does not lie about his accomplishments, and he's starting to match everything together in his mind. And it's part of the whole Yuno thing. Because, Yuno disappeared, so their memory's kind of wacky right now. That's where Avidius goes. And then we meet Avidius again. Well, he's an optional person you can talk to, but it's still part of the main story quest. When you're at like the festival looking for Yuno, you can actually talk to him. And apparently he escaped and he's running away. It's not much, it's just like a runaway story. So at that point, I would already put him, he adds so much to the story. He had a cool rivalry for Augusta. He wasn't that high up and add to the story. But then, the next time we goddamn see him, he's saving a town. Homie left Septimon, went to Renacida, and immediately becomes a hero, saving people from the big invasion that's happening. And we get to see him again. And goddamn, how much he adds to the story from this. He helps us protect people. He helps escort people to the vault. All this. And then he disappears when the whole clock thing happens. The whole weird clock setup thing, or the whole vault or knowledge thing that the Imperator gave us, and we get to look at it and see like the history, yada yada. And then he disappears because Leviathan is trying to like take him, or like the Abyss is trying to consume him. So he goes away and goes to the next place, protecting more people. He does not stop trying to help and protect people, showing us the original character we met is not Avidius. Avidius is a very positive person, and he was just being used by some corrupt councilman. So at this point, I would already put him near the top of ads to the story, like near the storyteller. Because goddamn, he's been everywhere. He's been talking to us. He's been doing stuff. He's also the guy who tries to explain to us what's happening and how to help people. Like, goddamn, this guy was there. But then the story continues, and we learn that poor Avidius, he's actually the person being corrupted. So then we go and try, and we see that his eye is black. He's still trying to fight the abyssal energy. And then he becomes the Dark King, the Abyss King, whatever the fuck the king was. But instead of quitting, instead of giving up and accepting fate, remember, his whole arc is like not accept, like fighting fate. That's his whole character. And he fights fate. He fights fate with all his heart. But he couldn't win. So, as a last ditch effort to fight fate and not become this evil Abyss King, he stabs himself in the heart with his spear and gives all his power to Gabrielle, to Galbrenna, as a last ditch effort to fight fate. And then, after all that, we learned that he was never real. He wasn't a real person. The storyteller, Cristoforo, Evil Bard, whatever you want to call him, created him in his book. He was a fabrication of a false hero of heroes. So we learned that, like, he believed that he was a false person, that he wasn't the real hero of heroes and yada. So he discovered everything that he discovered. He didn't know Cristoforo was the reason. He kind of had a reference that he was part of the problem, but he didn't know. But Avidius learns that he's like all this and fights to the end. And when he dies, he goes back into Cristoforo's book, and the book burns because, his story's over, so that book is burned. But homie fought to the end, fought fate, and ruined the fucking Evil Bard's plan. I would say this guy had as good of a story as His story and how much he added to the goddamn... He was a perfect character. Especially when you sit there and look at Septimon as Greek. He had the Greek tragedy. Also had amazing Greek tragedy. The two of them did the Greek tragedy so goddamn well, so perfectly, and added so much to the story that I have to give it Avidius a place and perfect character. And I am so sad he died. I cried when he died. And he was a male character. I think he is the first. He's not the first male character, but he is one of the male characters that I would have gone, this character I want. When he becomes a character, I want him. And knowing that he'll never become a character even hurt me more. And oh my god. Avidius was also the first death. The first true death we had. Because, we got references to people in the past dying. Right? But remember, that's not any of the characters we actively know. We're reading into a past, so we already know they died. We just learned how they died, or, all that. This is the first character. First ever character that has an on-screen death. And we watch it. And why does he... And not only that,
He kills himself, believing that it was the best course of action to save as many people as he could. Cristoforo, Cristoforo ruined this man, or made this man, and ruined this man's life. But this man said, fuck you, I write my own fate. Videos, you belong. Videos by far is my favorite character in the game. Now, story wise, I think Shorekeeper and other people did more in the story, but his story was perfect for who he was, what he had, and what he was doing. Avidius was perfect. And I can't ask Avidius to be any more perfect than he was. I think this is my tier list right here. If you guys have anything you want to say, anything I should adjust, this is the time. This is the time to adjust. If you have any opinion about anything here, if you think a character should be lower, higher, tell me now or forever hold your peace. Well, you can tell me whenever you want to tell me. If you're watching the YouTube video in the future, you can tell me. Tell me why you think they should be higher. Keep in mind, I have not played any of the side stories. This is all based on main story quest. I will be doing the side stories in the future. But for now, this is main story. I know we added a couple characters here, but I feel like the 5 characters we added were major characters throughout the story. I feel like all the 5 characters we added that aren't, like, pullable characters all belong here. From Avidius, Scar, Cristoforo, Frenrico, and Bulling all belong here. They all deserve their place on this list. Now, there are 4 characters that didn't exist. Now, to be honest, I did play his story. All honesty, I did play his story. And I think he... You know what? No, I'm going to change him because I played his story, and he does have a main story quest because it's kind of like a tutorial quest. I think he belongs here. I think he slightly hurt the story. Because I played his story... It's not even his story quest. It's a tutorial quest to unlock, like, the challenging area in the game. But I think he actively hurt the story. He didn't hurt the story, like, a lot, but he hurt the story. That's my opinion. He hurt the story. For the little bit he was in, he hurt it. I don't know why he was there. I don't know why they added him. Who do I think is the true character that is the balance of just existing? The perfect balance character of just existing as of right now is Bizo. She truly... No, wait. What's her name? Johnson. Johnzing? She was the perfect character of just existing. She helped you a little bit, but she really didn't do much. She didn't really do any... Like, she came in, she went like, oh, can I go through this gate? Okay. And then walked with us. I'll help you fight. That's it. That's her whole story. She did a little world building. She added just enough that you remember her as a character, but not enough for her to be anything like really important. And you could just forget her and mistake her for not existing. But she had just enough. I think she's the perfect example of she existed, didn't really do anything else besides being there and making you remember her, but not remember anything else about her. I know everyone remembers Vera. It's just because she's a really good support, not because of her story. And this tier list is based on story. If I did a tier list on characters, I literally couldn't because I don't know what half the characters do. In all fairness, I couldn't do a like who's the best character tier list. I could do a story tier list. And that's because I care about the story deeply. Even though I haven't played any of the side stuff, I care about this story so deeply. Now, remember, this can always change. There's a second half of this update adding another story that will add to our blind samurai. He might go up, he might go down. I don't know where he'll go. I know most of the characters we met in Renacida are gone. Don't expect them to have any more. Like, they can have side stories that can always be added, but they will never be part of the main story. With the exception of a couple characters, I feel like Brant, Roach, just because they're pirates at the sea, they can appear. I think Bowling will appear again. Bowling will appear just because, you know, she's part of another region and another faction, so we will meet her at a point. We're just gonna have to meet her at a point, especially that place has been referenced by 2 different characters. So we have to go there eventually. Who else will we meet from Renacida in the future? Oh, Galbrenna, we're meeting her again. I'm telling you this now, we're meeting her again. She became a Black Shore member. She is going to reappear because now she's part of the Black Shore. She's considered one of our allies. And she is not part of Renacida. She is a wandering explorer. We will see her again. I don't know when we'll see her again, but I feel like she's a definite one. The pirate crew is a maybe. Just a maybe. We're definitely going to see the storyteller again. The evil bard. We're going to see him again. We're going to see Scar again. Because they're main villains. They have to reappear. But most of the Renacida characters, I think, are done. While I would love to see... Like, I would love to see Lupa again. Feels like a character that should be part of the story again. Because, like, you know, she's just a gladiator. And adventuring would get her stronger. But I guess she's, like, the main gladiator. And she's, like, I don't know. And then I know there was talks. Carlotta said she'll see us again because she is a giant trading company. So we could see her again on business. Carlotta's another one we can see on business. I don't think we'll ever see Cantarella again. Cardathea, I don't think we'll see again. I don't think we'll see any of these guys again. Unless they have a reason to go to another region, I don't see most of the characters going. Like, I don't see Augusta going anywhere. I don't see Yuno going anywhere. They're gone. We're never going to see him in the story again. Unless, you know, there's like... I would really love for them to do every year a Carnival update. You know, every year make the Carnival happen again. So we can go back to Renacida and see every characters, but once again, this is us going back to Renacida, and I think that's the only scenario we'll go back to Renacida. Is for Carnival. And to be honest, it could be a cool event to do as your anniversary event every year. Or halfway anniversary. I don't know how they'll want to do it. But they could do the Carnival every year. And it would be such a fun thing to do every year. There doesn't have to be an epic, like, fight. You can literally just be the Carnival. And, like, having issues in the car. Renacida was so perfect. And as of right now, we have 2 regions to go off of. Oh my god, let me remember the name of the region. Well, yeah, we only have really 2. Well, we have 3 regions. I will say 3 regions. We have 3 regions. I will say that. So technically, we have Hung Long, right? That's what's called Hung Long. I believe Hong Long is the correct name. Hong Long, which was just bad. Technically, I think technically the Black Shore I'm gonna count as its own area. Right? Sure. Tell me how much you love Zanya. I'll tell you my favorite character too. Oh boy. Wait, isn't she the next banner? Wait, isn't she the oh. Ooh. Oh, that's so exciting for you. Oh, and it's also the blind samurai. I'm gonna be honest with you. His gameplay is really fun. I can't deny. I'm not gonna pull for him because his gameplay is amazing. But like, I don't. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh my god, let me bring out a calculator. Let me bring out a calculator to mathematically tell you how many pulls you have for this. Just because I'm curious in my little head, you know? And I'm a numbers person. Oh my god. You have 500 pulls. 506 if you want to be correct, but I know it's also not counting your like other stuff and that yada. You have 500 pulls ready. In the theory. So I'm going to divide it by 80. So with all your pulls, right? And this is if you get to 80 pulls every time, you are guaranteed 6 5-star characters. 6. At minimum, you are guaranteed 6 5-star characters. That is a minimum right now for you. Minimum is 6 5-star characters. That is true. 160 is that. But just based on how many Jades you have. Now, I know you have more than just that. I know you have to have other other already polls, like, you know, because you get them from every month. You get the thing. You get some from the every update. They do like a whole week of like you get some polls, and I know you have all that. So you definitely have more than I'm saying. But by default, you should get 5 6-star characters. If you want to go with yours, you have 3 guaranteed characters. You have 3 guaranteed Zenyas. You have three guaranteed of her. Now, 5 guaranteed? No, with did I do my math wrong? I feel like I didn't do my math wrong. 81,000. And then I'm dividing it by where's the division sign? Oh, there's no division sign. Dividing by 1600. Yeah, you have 500 polls. Oh shit. Okay, yeah. I wasn't counting the shop in my calculations. Okay, if you're counting the shop too, oh yeah, you definitely have. Oh my god. I think you can guarantee the chance of you losing every 50-50 is not guaranteed, right? It's a chance, but it's a low chance of you losing every 50-50. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's a low chance of you losing every 50-50. Theoretically, like, let's say, all right. So if we go based off that, I think at minimum you should get 4 copies of Zenyatta from just your pulls right now. Right? You should get a minimum of 4 of her. You should get 4 Zanya. Same time. You should get 4 of her minimum. Because this is assuming, right? You lose 2 of your 50-50s and you win 2 of your 50-50s. And then you get the other 2 guaranteed 50-50s. You should get 4 of her by the end. I think you're guaranteed 4 at least. And this is still guessing that you go to 80 every time for all of these. The problem is, I don't think you'll go to 80 every time. So I think you kind of... The problem is you also want her weapon. That's the big thing. You also want her weapon. And if you want to get her weapon, right? Oh, that's such a pain. To get the weapon... So to get the weapon maxed... Yeah, so the weapon, you can definitely max out the weapon for... I don't know if you want to max out the character or the weapon first. You already have the pulls to max out the weapon. Because you have 500 pulls without counting the pulls you have, just with the gems you have. You are guaranteed to pull it. See, but the thing is, you're also hoping that you get the because you want to use the afterglow whatever it's called, the afterglow something, to guarantee 2 of her, right? I would say get her twice and then get the weapon maxed and then use whatever you have left to get her. I see, this is my idea of thinking like the most logical. I'm thinking logically because you can't get the weapon through the coral. You can only get the character stuff. So let's say in a scenario where you pull, let's say you accidentally pull 6 of her, right? I guess you could buy the weapon pulls with the same thing. I guess it works one way or another. It works one way or another. Because you could just use whatever you fail with, like, the excess you have for weapons. See, right now, I also really want to try to get a weapon in the game. Because so Lupa and Gabrielle are 2 of my favorite characters. I think Lupa is my favorite character in the whole game. Lupa is my favorite character in the game, and I want to get her weapon so bad right now. Because Lupa is Lupa. I love the speed. I love her story. I love her design. There is nothing I don't like about Lupa. And on top of that, she is the best sub DPS for Galbrena. She's literally the best sub DPS for Galbrena. At the moment, yeah. Things will change, but at the moment, as of her releasing, and I'm pretty sure the next character is not going to help much, so she'll be at least for this update. I don't know what's next update. I know next update is Scissor Girl. So you can play with big scissors if you want to. Ooh. Okay, that's pretty cool actually. But I'm not going to pull for Mr. Blind Samurai. I do not have interest in Mr. Blind Samurai. I forgot who the best support for Galbrena is. I know the best sub DPS is Lupa. I want to say it was Black Shore, or Shorekeeper was the best support. I think Shorekeeper was the best support. I know Lupa was the best 80, like, best sub, but is also the best support. Damn. But you know, you have to have 3 characters. You always need a 3 characters thing, and I believe it was Shorekeeper. It may have not been Shorekeeper as the third character part of the list. I thought it was Shorekeeper. I could Google this. Wait a minute. I have the power. I have the power to Google. Why am I being silly? Google can tell me everything I want to know. Ooh, that's actually really good. Oh, okay. So best team. This is according to weatheringlabs.com. So sub DPS is, they give you a choice, so I guess there's no specific one. But the best is either the new character, the Blind Samurai, Lupa, Provolone Cheese, or Yuno. I'm really sad I didn't get Yuno. That's the best sub DPS, and the best healer is Shorekeeper. Shorekeeper is considered the best healer. And I need to get Shorekeeper. Everything I look at, just keep saying get Shorekeeper, get Shorekeeper. So now I need to get Shorekeeper. So what I've learned is go get Shorekeeper. What's Lupa's best team? Oh, I definitely don't have Lupa's. Lupa's a sub DPS all the way through. Yeah, I'm looking. Lupa is not a main DPS. Ever. Apparently Lupa's best team is with Brant. I don't know. Everyone keeps putting her. I think it's because of all her buffs of increasing allies' damage. I know that's one of her abilities. Like, she increases allies' damage. Which makes her feel more buffy. Brant is the main damage dealer in this. So it says Brant's the main DPS, and Lupa is the secondary DPS. Because apparently she's just really good at buffing. Oh my god, this team hurts me the most. Main DPS being Encore. Lupa being the sub DPS, and then Shorekeeper still being the healer. Shorekeeper's just everywhere. That one hurts the most. Oh my god. Telling me Lupa is just second fiddle to like literally everyone. Poor Lupa. And she's only to the fusion damage. Man. It's also you kind of have to play her with a fission buff. Which kind of sucks because, well, it doesn't suck for me because Galbrenna is one of my favorite characters. So Lupa and her are just such a good combo. But like, there was a scenario where I got Lupa and and I didn't get Galbrenna. And Lupa was just useless. Well, no, she's still really cool and has a cool attack. Yeah. It made me really sad to just think about that. Also, now that I'm looking at this, we need more ice characters. We need more ice characters. I started looking at like all the characters and what element they use. It's like no one with the ice ability. Glacio, I think. I think that's what it's called. There's like no one with Glacio, and then the other one that has none is the Spectro? Spectre? The light. The light one also has like no one. To be honest, it has some of the best characters in the game, the light one, so it's kind of hard to judge it since it has, Shorekeeper. Shorekeeper's just there. Well, the problem is it has what we agreed upon was the one of the best characters in story and apparently also in game. She's just the healer. So I just you go. I googled the best team for yours, and it says main DPS is Ana, right? She's the main DPS. For support, it's actually there's a choice between the two best. Well, one is probably slightly better, but it says both are very good in this, at least on this website. It's Phoebe and Rover. One of the Phoebe or Rover as a support. And then the healer is Shorekeeper or Verena. It's interesting. Oh, Phoebe is the number one. Okay. I feel bad. I'm not the biggest fan of Phoebe. I'm just not a fan of Phoebe. Oh my god. Okay. Well, now I get how you feel. Because that's a crazy damage change. Now I'm looking at all these like other things because I haven't looked at all this stuff yet. Let me do something real quick. I think if I do this, you'll be able to see. Yeah, so here's the website I'm on. And it actually gives you like a tier list of where the characters all belong. No, this is gameplay tier list. Oh, that's actually really cool. I found this tier list. I don't play for meta, and I never will play for meta. I will play with characters I like the most. I don't care what this says. Like, I'm never going to get Cardathea or Provolone Cheese. I'm just never going to get them. I don't care. Just really don't care about these two. But Shorekeeper, very top. Shorekeeper still at the very top of the list. Yeah. Stick with who you love. My perfect team is Galbrenna, Lupa, and Shorekeeper. That is my perfect team. Now, If I can't get Shorekeeper, Cantarella is my replacement for a healer. Because I love Cantarella. To be honest, most characters, by the looks of it, this game is very balanced, and most characters are pretty good. And most of the characters I like, Shorekeeper, Augusta, Gabrielle, Lupa, and Cantarella are all at the top. So I'm happy most of the characters I like. Okay, I can't lie. I can't lie. Oh, do they not have a full picture of her? Disappointing. What is her ideal team? Oh, that's shitty ideal teams. Let me real quickly wait, where's my game? Hey, where's Withering Waves? I know I have the game open. Apparently I don't. It says I don't. I like Cantarella for a lot of reasons. Her, Mark being on her tongue is amazing. It's also the same reason I like whichever one has what's her name? Oh no. The one who has the one in the eye. Hydron? What? Oh my god, there's so many. They're gonna be adding so many more characters too. Oh, that's the website you're using? Well, let me go to it. There's like so many websites for all gotcha games that just all do the same thing. Oh, this one actually has a lot more stuff too. Oh, there's Withering Waves. A tier list. I got it. I got it pulled up now. Let's see. Oh my god, in this one it says Lupa's the top of the hybrids. Go Lupa. You were put lower earlier. No, you're at the top. Oh damn, Cantarella drops a little bit. And oh no, two of my favorite characters. It's still fine. Not mad. Shorekeeper. Oh really? No matter what, Shorekeeper always at the top of support. I'm gonna be honest with you, Shorekeeper should always be at the top. Oh, actually, this should probably show me teams. Oh, I gotta learn how this website builds. Oh no, gameplay and teams. Oh, best team. This looks a lot different than the team I saw. Actually, it doesn't look that different. It's just Brant's here instead of Shorekeeper. That's really the only difference. God damn. I wanted to see. My favorite. Oh my god. Phoebe's at the bottom. Or not the bottom, but like, I guess meta characters. AoE alt gather. My god. Yeah, they don't have many just pure support characters. It's such a small list of like choice. It's the illusion of choice. That confuses me with that rating because meta should be the highest because that's what everyone's using. Look at Shorekeeper's teams. Oh boy. It's just everyone.
Oh my god. Oh damn. The shorekeeper, just who wants some friends. Oh man, I really want Augusta and I just missed them too. I lost the 50-50 and it hurts so bad. Augusta's the one who I lost the 50-50 to. And then I just didn't get enough pulls for But I never had the chance to get well, no, I had a chance to get Shorekeeper, but it was one of those because I started the game, they gave me that free character like select thing, but it ended the same update that I got it. It was weird. And I didn't get it. God damn. Yeah. Hopefully Shorekeeper comes back and I can get her again. Get her. But I'm pretty sure every character I want. So the characters I want are Augusta, who was last patch, painful. Uh, which was last patch. But I know they should have their reruns sooner because that's kind of how every gotcha game now does it. If they release a character, they'll release that character not too far away. Just to give people the chance to get them again. So I know these two I won't have to wait that long for. Um, Shorekeeper, I have no clue. Yeah, it's only 5 updates. When you really think about it, 5 updates later. So I'll have a chance at some point to get it. Like think about this. Lupa has her rerun right now. Lupa, I don't know when Lupa came out. Probably like 4.5 or 4.4 or 2.4 or 2.5. So that wasn't long ago. Expert +1. I actually have a story about her. So me and my friends, we went to Japan, you know, and when we were in Akihabara, the Electric City, which is like the anime arcade area, it had the anime and arcades literally every 2 feet. Also, a lot of gooning stores. When we were there, they had this giant ass like the double decker red bus from Britain driving around all of Akihabara. And this is when she released her first time releasing, like when she released, and it had plastered her face all over it. Say play Withering Waves and pull for her. It said in English and in Japanese. And then they had like 6 cosplayers of her on the bus, waving, sometimes coming out and like, taking photographs with everyone. And I sat there going, God damn, Withering Wave spent so much money on advertising for her. Now, I don't know if they do this for every character, but she was the character I saw. Because it was the time frame I was in Japan for. So, like, God damn it. They were advertising her out of the ass. Like, I was there for a full week, and I saw it every day. I saw it at like 10 in the morning, and then I would also see it at like 8 p.m. at night. And I didn't play Withering Waves at this time, so the character didn't mean as much. But goddamn, I saw her everywhere. And that red bus, because there's not many cars in
when you're in Tokyo, you don't see like any cars because it's like a pain in the ass to drive. You're better off taking the train. You just get stuck in traffic and pedestrians are everywhere. And like that bus was everywhere because it just be stuck because of traffic, and it literally did. I think just a big loop in the city over and over again. So I would sit in one spot, see it leave, and then maybe a couple hours later, it'd be back in the same spot. And I didn't move that far because there's just too much for me to see there. So it's the reason I have a connection to her. If it wasn't for that big ass red bus, I would never know who she was, and her character would have meant nothing to me. But because of that, seeing her, to be honest, when I started playing the game, I was like, oh, when does she appear? She takes forever. Dude, it is anime world. Straight up, it is anime world. It was insanity. Because I think also Nikke, Goddess of Victory, was the train station. Like, because the train stations have ads everywhere. Every ad was for Goddess Nikke of Victory. I did not go to a maid cafe. I should have gone to a maid cafe. It's one of the things I missed because there's too much to do. There was just way too much to do, and I was only there for 2 weeks, and we went like we weren't only in Tokyo. We went to a lot of other places. Went to Osaka and all that. Oh, I bought some anime figures. I bought some anime figures there. I won't lie. I bought a Miku. Well, no, I actually didn't buy the Miku. I bought Miku in Sapporo. I bought my Miku figure in Sapporo at the Snow Miku Museum, which was beautiful. It felt kind of weird because it was in an airport. So I went to an airport to go to a museum. That was such a weird experience, but it was cool. And then I bought a couple other anime figures. One of a character I don't even know who it is. But she looks so beautiful that I went like buying this. And then I bought I'm looking up now to see what other statues I bought. I bought a why can't I remember your name? I'm staring into its eyes and I don't remember its name. A Rathalos. I bought Rathalos from Monster Hunter. Also, the prices so cheap. Now, I'm saying cheap because when I Google them to buy them online, the like smallest statue is like $40. But I saw the same statues that were $40 from America, $40 in America, were like $10 in Japan. And I sat there going, oh my God. And the only thing that stopped me from buying a billion statues was suitcase storage. Otherwise, it would have been a problem. But you can't, your suitcase is limited. So you got to play to your suitcase. I also bought a ReZero character statue because I really like ReZero, so bought that. I bought some Star Rail stuff. See, that was an option when I was there, but now like at least in America, this is a problem in the USA specifically. If you don't live in the USA, this is not an issue. But if you send something home to yourself, you're paying tariffs. And I no, I'm not paying that tariff. Oh, what? Watch what your parents say when they start, dude. Full honesty, my mom, she's not an anime freak, but she likes romance animes. So she already understands like anime culture. My mom understands anime culture. She's watched a lot of romance animes. So I'm not worried that much. She actually really enjoys romance anime. She goes out of her way to watch romance animes. So like she gets it. My sister also, she's a weeb. Just like me, my sister is a weeb. She plays Honkai Star Rail every day. Every day she plays Honkai Star Rail. And I bought a bunch of Honkai Star Rail merch while I was in Japan just for her. So I ain't worried a little bit. No, you can. People in Japan are called weebs. You can call people who live in Japan and are Japanese, you can call them weebs. Or, no, what do you call them? Otakus? Is that the technical name? Yeah, okay, otakus. Yeah. They have their own version. Yeah, no. I really badly want to go back to Japan. I don't know. See, I know that's what weeb stands for, but I feel like at least where I live, no one if you like anime, you're a weeb. That's what it is where I live. That's kind of this is a more North American thing. Weeb has been just used for someone who's really into anime. I know what weeb technically means is like you're adapting the culture from samurai to chopsticks to just eating like a lot of sushi and like rice. But now it's kind of just used as a term for anime. Like you really like anime. Oh, then yeah. No, North America is just screwed that way, and just if you like anime, you're a weeb. It doesn't matter. You, I knew a person who was Japanese. This was in high school, and he called himself a weeb, and everyone called him a weeb. And he literally wore a Naruto jacket. He had a Goku shirt, and he had a couple other like popular animes. But he didn't have any niche animes. He had only popular ones. So like it would have been cool to see him have niche ones, but I feel like niche ones maybe a little no one would get it. But this was some time ago. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Nowadays, like right now, I wore a Spear Blossom Hatsune Miku shirt out in public to a huge event, and everyone complimented my shirt. I had so many people walk up to me and say, "You have a nice shirt. You look kawaii." And I sat there going, like, anime is so big now. It's just so big. And I'm like, you know what? When he wore it in high school, and I think this was my freshman year, his sophomore year, I think, he was a weirdo. Because anime was still looked as, weird at that specific time. And high schoolers are usually more judgmental than the real world. But right now, and I live in a very, we'll say, old school area. Um, everyone, all the younger people know anime, and everyone talks about it. And when I say younger, because in my area, I think the average age is like 50 something. So younger just means under 50 here. But like people from 30 and under are all really into anime, including myself. I am really into anime, and I belong to the age group of under 30. And we are all way into anime. You didn't really catch anime till 2010s? I I won't lie to you. My first experience was with anime, and this is actually going to sound insane. My first experience was with anime. I was 5 years old. I want to say I was 5 years old, or maybe six. I was either 5 or 6 years old. And, I'm a little kid. It was summer, so no school, which means you can stay up as late as you want. So I'm sitting there, up late. I think I was watching TV till like 2, 3 a.m. I was playing Pokemon on my DS. And my first anime that I watched as a 6-year-old was oh my god, it's about the brothers. Full Metal Alchemist, I think. Where one of the brothers is like destroyed and becomes like a walking automaton. That was my first anime as a 6-year-old. Now see, Full Metal Alchemist, I love the anime now. But as a 6-year-old, it was the first episode. Watching that brother be murdered. That was the first episode. I watched the brother be murdered and destroyed as a 6-year-old. And I didn't understand what was happening. Because I was playing Pokemon. And I looked up and that's what I saw. And my little 6-year-old brain went, what? My poor little 6-year-old brain. It wasn't ready for that. It wasn't ready. I think I watched 2 episodes of that show too, because at nighttime there wasn't much to be shown. At nighttime it was more like the adult shows, so no matter where I went, I was going to see adultish shows, especially at 1 a.m. But before that, it was goddamn Family Guy. Before Full Metal Alchemist, it was Family Guy. Very different in the themings. You know, gross comedy versus like real storytelling, it hits very different. My second experience with anime was much better. My second experience with anime was so much better because it was the first episode of One Piece was my second experience with anime. And I think I was still 6. I think this was like weeks later. My second anime experience was One Piece. My third one was Naruto. The third anime I saw was Naruto. And the fourth one was Dragon Ball Z. Not Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z. The thing is, I didn't like Dragon Ball Z or Naruto at that time. For one reason alone. It was the 4 Kids dubbed where they like also changed a bunch of stuff. I think they made Popo blue. It was a lot of dumb things they did that made me not like those shows. Nowadays, I went and rewatched Naruto during COVID. Naruto's really good. Don't like the filler, but Naruto overall was really good. Fullmetal Alchemist, really good. One Piece, it's still coming out. I watched the first English dubbed episode when I was 6. The anime is still coming out. I'm no longer 6. Now I know the dub took forever. Like during that time, dubbing took years, into years, and it might have been dubbed online, but it wasn't dubbed on TV for a long time. A lot of the stuff nowadays, a lot of shows get dubbed same time or like a week or two after. That was the first dubbing of Dragon Ball Z. And I think Dragon Ball Z finished airing. I think Dragon Ball GT was already like the Dragon Ball GT in Japanese was over by the time Dragon Ball Z came over to America dubbed. That's how long it took. And it got the worst dubbing in the world because 4Kids did it. There's a reason why 4Kids no longer does anything. Because it almost ended it. Oh, I also saw Yu-Gi-Oh! At a point. I didn't get into the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. I did get into the Pokemon anime as a child, but that's because I was playing Fire Red 24/7. That was a whole era of my life, was just playing Pokemon Fire Red. I think at a point I got Emerald too. But I was a dumb child, and it took me about a year and a half to beat Fire Red. So, take that how you want to. Took me a year and a half to beat Fire Red as a child. And that's because some of the shit you just couldn't figure out. But Full Metal Alchemist was my first anime. And it was a bad, bad start to my anime career. I still like it. And now I'm an anime girl on the internet, so it stuck with me, but that was a bad start to anime for me. I think it was one of the only adult animes that they released during that time, right? It was Full Metal Alchemist and then Death Note, right? Those were the two. Thank you for the follow. See, those were the only two I knew of. There's probably more. But those were the two I knew. Oh, a lot more niche though. Okay. The only two I knew was I Full Metal Alchemist because I saw that, and then I learned about Death Note because of Smosh, and I watched that show. But I was much older at that time. I know it came out the same time, but like Okay, so okay, there was a couple other animes. Nowadays, every kid knows about anime because of the internet. Oh shit, no, I know there was one other one. This wasn't really it was adult theme for the reasoning of sexual nature, but not because of adult theme story, but it was like the vampire, the pink-haired vampire girl. It wasn't actually adult themed, it was more of a it's just because it had a lot of fan service. When they cry. I watched When You Cry uh when they cry. Oh my god, I wish I remember what that show was called, the one with the pink-haired vampire girl. I watched When They Cry. But I watched When They Cry during COVID, so that's not I watched it way later. God damn it, I'm gonna figure out. Give me a second. Oh, Rosaria plus Vampire. That was the show. Yep. Okay, you got it too. Yeah. That was another one I watched at a very, very young age. Because for some reason it was one of the ones they had to dub really early on. I didn't even know there was a second season. but I know it was really I think under the age of 10 when I first saw it. I believe I was under the age of 10 when I first saw it. So that was another show. I don't think there was a second season. I think there was only one season of that show. I know there was a second season, and COVID is when I watched almost everything. Ooh, Ooh, I actually have never heard of this anime. Now, this might be an anime I know, but I might know it by a different name. I hate whenever an anime has multiple like names because translation got fucky. Oh, actually, yeah, I've never seen this. I've never seen this anime. Well, I know what I'm watching tonight. After the new One Piece episode, of course. I have to watch the new One Piece episode. If there is a new episode, some weeks they don't. Well, I gotta watch this. This looks interesting. Is there like can I read a summary? A vampire princess in Japan horror manga. Ooh, it's a horror manga. Okay. Yeah. I'm always down for a depressing anime, but depressing anime has to be a certain times. Like, you don't want to watch it all the time because vibes. You know what? You know what's funny? I've seen this anime. I didn't remember the name, but I saw this anime. I watched this anime at work because one of my fellow coworkers wanted to watch this. We watched this together at work. Just know, instead of fixing airplanes, I was watching this anime at work. Not my old job. I no longer work there. But this is what I watched one of those days. And that anime was goddamn depressing. I didn't even want to work anymore after that. I didn't even know its name. And just remember, it was my manager. So it wasn't the boss, but it was the manager of where I worked. Put this on because half the time we did nothing at work because we were like those people. What is it called? We were part of the group of people that like we only show up if if an emergency happens. So half the time we kind of just fucked around and did nothing. Not my fault. That's just how that business worked. Yeah. I am probably gonna head off. But I'm very happy we got to talk about some anime. Got to talk about this tier list. I'm really happy with this tier list. I don't think would change much on it. Except for these three characters, once I do their side story, maybe I'll change this up one day. These three. Because I don't know anything about them and they didn't exist in the main story, and I've only done the main story. It took me an update and a half to finish the story. Wait, no. Yeah, because I started playing at the end of one update, then a whole update happened, and then another update happened. That's how long it took me to get to the point where I was actually caught up to the story. Someone could probably knock it out. Now, I read through the whole story, but if someone just pressed the skip button like a billion times, they could probably get through the story in like a week or two. But if you actually want to read and everything, it'll probably take you a full update at this point. And it just keeps getting longer
every update. So good luck, everyone else. I'm up to date, so I don't care anymore. Oh my god. I really hope Cristoforo never becomes a playable character. I really hope so. But yeah, I'm going to head off, everyone. I hope you all have a great morning, night, afternoon, whatever time zone you're in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. If you enjoyed my content, uh please like on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, and like the video on YouTube. Uh all streams I've ever done are all on YouTube. So if you want to watch me play through the whole story or see my reaction to specific parts in anything, it's all here. I played through all of Wuthering Waves. I have a good portion of what other games? We do have Grey Raven. We have Blue Archive. I haven't finished that game yet, but a good portion of Blue Archive also. And a couple other games here and there that we tried once and then just went like, yeah, this ain't our game. I forgot what else we played. It's mostly been Grey Raven and Wuthering Waves. It's been a majority of our time. I know we played the Lego games a long time ago and some other like small niche games that we finished in like one stream. But yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful time. Please enjoy your day, and I will see you on the next one. Or I don't know. I might not stream tomorrow, but Tuesday I will be streaming. Tuesday I will be streaming. So you can find me Tuesday. Monday we might stream, but Monday I'm trying a gimmicky thing on Monday, so I don't want to tell anyone to like come here because I might be busy. Trying to create a little board game, and me and my friends are testing it out tomorrow. So if it works out, I'll tell you guys if it was good. But as of right now, I don't want to put too much into it because I don't know how good it's going to be. Yeah. Good night, everyone.